Yishem Adonai Baruch Matav Dolam. Shalom everyone. This Torah class is dedicated to, I just got a message, Alla Adina Bat Galina Golda. For Shalem, for the Guf, to everybody. Everyone that needs Refuah Shalem, a speedy recovery. You can mention their names right now. And also for bracha v'atzlacha and livelihood and good partners and everything. You know the power of Torah. You saw it last week when we couldn't find. Is everything good with the earrings, Miriam? All in place, intact?
Are they on tight?
Tight. So we couldn't find it. And I said, Baruch Hashem, Bezrat Hashem, with the power of the Torah, we will. And Baruch Hashem, Claudia was a good messenger.
The most random spot. Yeah.
It's amazing that Hashem wants that this earring will be found by Claudia.
Yeah.
So this is a good
What do
sign.
you see over there?
She always finds jewelry. She finds only diamonds. That's what she finds. Okay. So when we're saying that this Torah class is dedicated for so and so, believe me, there is a really strong power. There's no stronger and more powerful than the Torah. It's so we're all blessed to be here on behalf of Ohev Israel Foundation. I want to thank the Medina's family for hosting the shiur with all the goodies here and the refreshments, and God bless you with all the berachot in the Torah. Amen. Amen. תודה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהכל נהיה בדברו. Talking about fragrances. I don't know, last week we talked about it and 2 weeks before, and I don't know if we'll finish the whole simah, the whole paragraph today, but out of curiosity, who in the last week, from last class today, did at least once besamim, this bracha, the new bracha?
Everybody.
One, two, everybody?
Yeah.
Avdallah, except Avdallah. So the only one? One? Only one? Okay. So the idea here is that we will practice it.
Okay.
We're learning it and we want to practice. This is how we we close the circle, as we're saying, right? That's the main goal. So, except Havdalah, we are, in our life, we meet many opportunities to say the beracha over besamim, fragrances. So, you know what? Even in the toilet, we have the spray. Should we say bracha over it? Let's say it's not appropriate place. So I take this spray outside, I spray, and I want to say boreh mineh besamim. Can they do that? What if I bought this only in order to give a nice and pleasant odor at the house and nice fragrance, nice smell, good smell? Can I say the blessing over something like this? I mean, chemical, that it was meant and was manufactured for the purpose of using in the toilet. That's the question that we have to answer today. Some people, we talked about the hookah, right? And the cigars. Mm-hmm. Cigars? Yeah. That was the last one. So, some people goes to bakery. It's a wonderful smell. You go to Starbucks. Starbucks has a great smell for the coffee. Should we say the beracha? What about the seller himself, the one that works there? The good smell, and then he leaves, then he comes back, and he go to lunch, he comes in and out, 5, 6, 7 times a day, more or less, okay? Should he say every time the beracha? He can earn a lot of mitzvot that way. Should you say any blessing over baked cake, cookies, / challah, whatever? You see, there's a lot of opportunities during the day to make berachot. So we'll see some of it you don't say. It will be bracha in vain. And some we need to say. Okay, questions? Okay. So the halacha says, according to some poskim, if someone smells the fragrance of freshly baked bread, he must recite the blessing of Hanoten Reach Tov Bapat. We said before, baperot, fruit. But this is pat. Pat means bread. Hanoten, Baruch Ata Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam. Hanoten, reach tov. We used to say baperot, over fruit. Here's pat, bapat. This is just an opinion, hold on. Who places a fine fragrance, right, in bread. Others disagreed with this, and in practice, we do not recite this blessing, based on the principle, safek brachot leakel. Okay? So, we are not saying any brachot over bread, pita, cookies, cake, so forth and so on. Okay, so for Sephardim. All right. Therefore,
when it's baking? Or
when it's baking, or after you enter a house or someone in the house, it doesn't matter. Therefore, it is best to refrain from smelling freshly baked bread for the pleasure of this fragrance. He says, you know what, let me smell it. So enjoy it. It's questionable in the halacha now if you have to say bracha or not. So you can smell, but don't do it for the purpose of getting benefit out of this smell, because it'll put you in a position that, in a place that there's bracha, no bracha. Don't put yourself in such a spot.
Why?
You can smell if it's fresh, not fresh, no problem.
In case they didn't take the challah, or why?
In case of?
Didn't take the challah, or why?
What do you mean?
Bread, like to take the challah portion off. Like
Why we don't see
No. The smell is over the bracha is over the smell,
Right.
not the afrasha,
Right.
not the portion that we take out. So since it's a debate between the poskim, between the rabbis, we don't want to put ourselves in a place that now it's questionable, because some great rabbi says say bracha, some say don't. We refrain from that. So you can smell to see if it's not, but not for the purpose of, it's opportunity for me to say now bracha over a fragrance, and don't do that with the bread or any other baked item. Okay? Therefore, it is best to refrain from smelling freshly baked bread for the pleasure of its fragrance. Nevertheless, it is permissible to pass by a bakery, even though one will certainly smell the fragrance of a bread and cake being produced there. Likewise, the employees in the bakery are not obligated to avoid these fragrances. They don't have to wear a mask or anything. In these cases, the people are simply minding their own business without purposely coming to enjoy their fragrances. No blessing is required. See how we're careful about to say, not to say, and even if it's questionable, it's better don't say. Because the name of Hashem is involved in it. And you don't want to say Hashem's name in vain. Okay? It's a prohibition in the Torah, and it's in the 10 Commandments. Lo tisa Hashem lokecha lashon. Don't say Hashem's name in vain. It's one of the 10 Commandments. What about Starbucks? One wants to say beracha, and we ask him why. When we say, what do you mean? It's a fruit. It's a fruit that was baked and grinded. What's the difference between coffee to, grinded cinnamon, for example? This is hot, this is cold. What's the problem? It's not now a cake, or this is a different animal, okay? We're talking about coffee beans. Coffee beans being baked, producing great smell. Should I say bracha? Halacha, bottom line. Freshly ground coffee often has a fine fragrance. Some poskim rule that although we do not recite any blessing for the fragrance freshly baked bread, in this case, one must recite the blessing of Hanoten reach tov baperot. It's a fruit. Although there are poskim who disagreed, anyone who wishes to recite the blessing has a sound halachic basis for it. Some enjoy the smell of freshly tanned leather. Some gasoline in a gas station. Some some type of glue. I don't know.
New car smell.
Huh?
New car smell.
New car smell, something like that. It's a good smell for them. Should they said the beracha? No blessing is recited over for the smell of freshly tanned leather, gasoline, or contact cement.
That one is,
Wow, that's really exciting.
yeah, too much pleasure.
Okay. Now, you went to the mall. Okay? You go to the mall and you see there's a perfume seller. You're gonna check it out. You want to buy. You're not sure if you want to buy. You're going in. There's a lot of perfumes there. And you want to say beracha over one of the perfume. We talked about last week, right? Chanel 5. I don't know. Or Gucci or Schmucci and all the other names. Gucci, yeah. So, if someone enters a store where natural perfumes are sold and he's met by the pleasant fragrances of the perfumes, he must recite the blessing of Boreh. Okay, give me what's coming after? Mineh besamim. Thank you. It's general, it's chemicals, it's a mix of. Right? This is because the proprietor wants his potential customers, the seller wants his customers to smell the perfumes as a way of advertising his wares. Okay, so why are we saying that? Because the purpose of the perfumes and the aftershaves there is for people to smell. And it was made and was manufactured for the purpose of bringing good odor, good fragrance. That's the purpose.
So, Rabbi, so when we walk into this beautiful living room, it smells nice. So in this case, if we enjoy the smelling of
Which room?
This room, this one.
What kind of a smell? Depends.
It's
if they put something on.
Yeah.
This one, like lavender stuff. Of course, yeah. You can say Boreh mineh besamim.
But if you smell something but you don't know where it's coming from and you have no idea at all, and you just smell it, if you like it, you just say Boreh mineh besamim?
It's a problem. It's a good question.
Depends.
You will see later why I'm saying it. Here I ask you where, so you pointed here, right?
Yeah.
So I know this one was manufactured to give, not to be as a mask for other unpleasant.
Fabrics, like fabrics.
No, it's a perfume.
You know what I mean? So this is a different case. That was made to give a good smell. So that's the purpose. We're saying Boreh mineh besamim. In other cases, we'll see what's going to be. Sometimes there are, in every house, I believe, there is some type of sprays that they are covering other bad smells.
Mm-hmm.
This is their purpose.
Yeah.
So we'll see what's going to be the case there. Okay. If someone enters a warehouse where perfumes are being stored, he must not recite a blessing on the fragrance of those perfumes, even if he intends to enjoy the fragrance. If he picks up a veil of smell, like a wave or something, however, he must then recite the blessing. If someone places perfume in a room to give the room a pleasant smell, anyone who enters the room must recite the appropriate blessing for it. So everyone that smell, I didn't smell anything, I'm a little bit stuffed, but if you smell, you could say bracha today. Although this perfume is not for sale, it was placed here so the people will enjoy its fragrance. Okay, so by the way, if anybody smell it now, you can say bracha. Boreh mineh besamim. Amen. Okay, now we've learned that in that store with all the perfumes, you said the beracha. What about the seller? He is in the shop all day. How many times does he need to say? So halacha says, first thing in the morning, you come in, you enter, you open the store, you smell, you enjoy, you say bracha. One time. Yeah.
I have a question. There is fragrances, how do you say fragrance?
Fragrance.
English is how I say. And how about there is incense like the Hindu people.
Oh, we'll get to
use
it.
For,
We'll get there. Something you put as a smoke and all. We'll get to it. Some of them using it for avodah zarah. Other worshiping. We can't even enjoy from it. For example, there is halacha about enjoying from avodah zarah utensils. For example, the Hindus, Thailand, Asian, they placed many times fruit and vegetables and different type of food before the statue, before the pesel, before the avodah zarah, right? The Buddha, Shmuda, all that. Okay. And for the purpose of getting permission from it or placing it before it first, and then what they do, they give it out for free.
it happened to me.
Happened to you. So the question is if I can enjoy from it, because it was first sacrificed to avodah zarah, idol worshipping, right? Halacha says it's completely forbidden, prohibited. You can't do that because you're taking part. So I warn people that go to Thailand, these places. People offer you free fruit in the street. Don't take. Don't take. They might use it for avodah zarah, idol worshipping. If it was in the room next to it, was prepared for, and they didn't serve it, it's still permitted. As long as he went through the process of bringing it to the idol, worshipping, it become disqualified completely. So this is why we've been warned not to go to these kind of churches and temples because you're going to smell and enjoy from. It's called avodah zarah avizarayu, tools and utensils and I don't know any fragrance, whatever the light sticks with, right? Incense. So this is why we refrain even from going there. This is why it's important that people they're going for a vacation, 10, 14 days, 21 days around the world. They're sailing and they're getting cruises and so forth. And they go to these kind of places, they can look at it from the outside, not to go to the inside. In some places, they have a very low ceiling for a purpose. So you bowed, and then you go to the main room, but in the meantime, you're bowing to all this statue. Not even knowing that you're bowing to, and if you did it before, you have to do teshuvah for it.
And that also applies to non-kosher. That also applies to non-kosher food smells too, right?
Say it again, out loud, please.
It doesn't apply. That also applies to non-kosher food, like food smells. You walk around.
Anything, any food, doesn't matter if it's kosher or non-kosher. I can get any benefit out of this serving. So let's go back to the seller in the perfume store. If someone remains all day long in a perfume shop, he recites the blessing for the fragrance only once. Even if he stops thinking about the fragrances for a while, he must not recite the blessing a second time. Why are they saying that? Because let's say I have here the cinnamon, right? So the blessing for the cinnamon, the grounded, not the sticks, not the tree trunk shells. Talking about the grounded one. The bracha will be there on them, mineh besamim, the general one. Because it was made for spices, not for smell. So, if I smell it, boreh mineh besamim, and then I'm reading something, going to the other one, coming back, and I see it again, I can say again the bracha. 10 times a day, 100 times a day. As long as you took your mind off of it. Okay? So here, in the shop, even if he took his mind off of it, you say it once only. Some poskim rule that this halacha applies to the sellers as well, while others rule that the sellers does not recite the blessing at all. It is recommended that the sellers purposely decide to smell the perfumes for his pleasure when he first enters the shop each day, so that he can safely recite the blessing. So the advice we give this kind of salesman or owner, when you go to your store, to your shop, Open it, grab the first perfume you have, say bracha, and you're done for today. Okay? Now, I went to the mall, and there were several perfume shops. I go from one to another. I said already the bracha at the first one, and there are 7 more stores along the way. Should I say bracha each time I go to a new shop? I'm as a buyer. Answer. If someone goes in and out of perfume shops several times a day, he must recite the blessing for the fragrance each time he enters the shop. If someone was in the shop and decided to step outside for only a moment, however, and he returned to the shop after being out for only a moment, he must not repeat the blessing. This is the halacha even if he now smells a different group of perfumes. Sometimes people go out to grab something from the strollers with the baby, or to ask for a wife or something, or she needs something and it goes back. Same store, one time. That's a way to remember that. So we've learned that you have to say on each store the blessing over again. A new store, new bracha. That's the easy ways to remember it. If someone visited a perfume shop and recited the blessing, he must repeat the blessing. If he then visits another perfume shop, this is the halacha, even if he intended from the start to visit both shops. Okay.
I have a question. How is that when you say you have to, when you smell something and then you step away from it and then you come back and you say the bracha again? How is that any different from if you, let's say you're home and you're eating throughout the day, you say, I ate, now and then like 3 hours later you decided to eat it again.
It's a good question. You have to say the bracha again.
You do?
Of course. I'll give you an example. I think we discussed that already, or maybe not, I don't remember, but I'm eating an apple. And then I have to go outside the house to bring something from the car. I'll go back to my apple, I have to say Borei Priyatz again. I give you a rule. Anything that is not Birkat HaMazon at the end, or Ala Michya, it means that this is, like we call it heavy brachot, your mind is on that food yet. It's a big cake, a borekas, or something, or pita, or food. You have to still, you don't have to say the bracha again over the food. So you step out after eating bread, you can go back, no problem. But with light food, drinks, fruit, vegetables, you go out the house, you come back, you have to say the bracha again. Borei Priyatz, or Borei Priyatz, or she'akol niya bidvaro. If you carry the drinks with you, you don't need to say one time. She'akol, you take the bottle to your car, coming out, your mind is on it, you're holding it, you're holding the coffee. So you don't have to enter, anytime you're going from one place to another, say bracha. As long as you're holding it. If you go in the office, from office to office, no problem.
Even if you get out of the house to get something from the car and you're thinking, I want to go back and continue eating there.
Even if. Because it's you're placing yourself outside of the perimeter.
Okay.
Are you supposed to give the thanks after each food?
Yes, it's called bracha aharona. It's called the bracha after. There's 3 types of brachot. One, we call it Birkat HaMazon. It's the longest one. It's from the Torah. Meaning, if you have question in your mind, did I say the bracha after I ate? The only one that you will have to repeat, even if you find out later that you did it, is Birkat HaMazon, over a bread, because it's from the Torah. Everything that is in doubt, but it comes from the Torah, you say it. But if it's a rabbinical law, like Borei Nefashot, Ala Michya, after eating cake, cookies, borekas, fruit, anything else besides bread or pita, you know what I mean? If it's questionable, did I say Borei Nefashot after drinking this, eating this or that? You don't say bracha after that. You assume you did, you didn't, you missed it. Okay? Some has coffee in their office. They leave the office, they go to another office. They go the hallway. They go to the second floor. First, it's the same building is no problem. When you live outside, it's a different. It's okay.
What about if you go to the restroom?
Very good, thank you. If you go to the restroom, even if you're in the same floor, You come out of the restroom, you say the bracha again. Thank you for the question, Naomi. All right. Same with tefillin. You put tefillin, huh?
The restroom is to that.
Restroom, yeah, because restroom you don't think of. It's a different zone that your mind is in a different area. So, for example, if I'm in the shul and I feel the need to go to the restroom, I take off my tefillin and I take off my talit and I go to the restroom. Coming out, I have to put tefillin again with the blessing. Talit, no. Talit is up to 30 minutes. Sometimes the talit falls off the shoulder, and with half of it, all of it on the floor. You pick it up, you don't have to say the beracha. As long as you're not away from it less than 30 minutes. So restroom and the shower is also a place that will, will get you to do the beracha again. Any questions? Okay, next. Okay. יש למה נפקן? תודה. Okay.
In the restroom, while you are taking a shower, no blessings at all? No, but not saying that I'm gonna say a blessing, but can I think about something holy or not?
In the restroom and bathroom, no. This is why many great rabbis, they were able to make a lot of mathematic books and stuff like that in the restroom. It's highly recommended to hold in the restroom catalogs of cars and this kind of thing, so you can take a shower.
Even if you use the water and everything?
Depends where. The jacuzzi and places that there is no toilets is different. You can even say Shema Israel under the water. Because the water covering up to here, you can even take a glass of wine and say bracha over it. But the place there is a toilet, it's called, there's a ruach ra'ah there. There's a bad spirit there. It's so bad that even if you reach your hand just to turn the light off and you took it out of the restroom, you have to wash to do netilat yadayim. To remove the ruach ra'ah.
But no same blessing? No blessing?
No blessing. Back then, the ruach ra'ah was much, much stronger because it was different. It was like a place outside of the house. It was a hole in the ground, and it was not clean like we have today. It's washed with water. Back then, they had to put some type of dust or whatever to clean it. The smell was bad. So today, we're careful not to speak Hebrew in that places or say holy names. It's a disgrace to Hashem's name. This is why it's a problem when people have necklaces with words, psukim, like I have Shema Israel. It's worse when they have tattooed. You're going with these names of Hashem into a restroom. It's not appropriate.
I cannot even have a shin.
Shin might be no problem, but I saw people that has non-Jews. Ani le dodi ve dodili. People that have the rings with from Shir HaShirim, the songs of all songs from the Tanakh. I don't even know what they have there. I saw once in the gym a non-Jew that has the name of his God, Yeshua, Jesus, but it was in Hebrew letters, and the Hebrew letters says Yud, Shin, Vav. The way we call him. We call him Yeshu. Yeshu is refers to Yeshua. And Yeshu means, the acronym, the abbreviation of Yeshu is Yud, Shin, Vav, meaning Yimach Shebo V'zichro, meaning may his name be erased. And they're wearing it, they don't even know what they put there. They're putting a curse. It's not his name really, it's a curse of his name. And they carve it on the... They don't even know what they're putting. Some people putting it Chinese or Japanese that like the symbol. Don't even know. It could be a menu from the restaurant. They don't even know. Chicken.
Like in regards to the toilet thing, also like when you pass through a door, let's say you get a new toilet or something, don't you have to cover the toilet when it's passing through the mezuzah?
Wow.
When I enter the...
Like let's say for example you renovate your restroom and you get a...
No, they don't have to worry about it. As long as you didn't use the area, there's no problem.
So when you walk through with the...
We don't have a mezuzah,
If
an
you-
entrance of the restroom. You shouldn't have.
No,
No,
I mean
but
through the
through
front
the-
Has no
door.
problem, no. You can even pass with a baby that has a diaper full of it. It's no problem. There's other problem if you hold your baby while you're davening. You can do that. You can't hold your baby when he's unclean and daven. This is not appropriate. Okay?
Is it true that, sorry,
What time is
is
it?
it true that in the past you also have to wash your feet? Is it true that also in the past
Yes.
you have to wash
Yes.
your feet?
Yes.
Levites.
Yes. They always wash their feet because the Ruach Ra'ah, the bad spirit, attached themselves to the feet. They were always washing their feet like the Kohanim did in the temple, the priest did in the temple. You can see the Muslims today do that still. It's an ancient custom. Today there is no need because we are Baruch Hashem clean. There's no problem. I think maybe we stop here. The next topic will be, right please, page 356, where we stop. So we'll talk next time, Bezrat Hashem, what kind of fragrances fragrances without blessing. This is our next topic. Fragrances without blessing. You'll be surprised on how many things. I'll give you a little taste of it. Imagine to yourself a lady put on herself tons of Chanel, or I don't know the names, but, and you want to say bracha. So I say, wow, this is a strong scent. No, I think this is, I don't know her, she's my neighbor. You want to go to her, smell and say the bracha.
But they're noisy.
No, she agreed. It's okay. So, hey, you have to try, this is a new one. Come, take a sniff. Okay. Can I do that with her permission?
Really?
I want to say, I'm asking. Can I say bracha over it?
That's a good question.
It's a good question. Answer next week. Bezrat Hashem.
Oh, really? No.
Guys, before I finish this class, we move to the other class. I brought something that I want to share with you, and I hope that you'll take advantage of it. There's a great rabbi, you can look him up later. He just got rewarded in Israel, I think this year. His name is Rabbi Fuhrer. I don't know if you heard about him. Doctors around the world know him very well. Yeah, he is expert. People with very, very strange problems with children or themselves, they go to him, and he can direct to the best doctor at that field. Someone need orthopedic surgeon, he'll send you to, I don't know, Boston, to Dallas, or to New York. He knows where to direct people. He's well known, extremely busy. Unfortunately, my sister used his service. He's a great tzaddik. And they took their baby to Boston just a few months ago. He has some tumor just a baby born. It turns out, Baruch Hashem, it's not cancer, but they had to remove a large piece of tumor from his hand. The expert that could know how to deal with that infant was in Boston. In Israel, they never dealt with such a thing. It's one of a million. So they're sending families coming here to town. There's expert in Scottish Rite Hospital, if you heard about him, and another hospital that deal with babies and little children. Scottish Rite Hospital is more orthopedic. Really, really good doctors. It really, really saved this girl that I was there, and I'll tell you in a second what happened. And you remember that? And then now more and more families comes with baby infant that they cannot do Brit Milah. Why? Talking religious people. You saw them in the shul, in Oratora, Hasidish coming and something. They have to stay here for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month sometimes. Because there's a defect in the baby's private. The hole for the urine is not normal. It could be from the bottom, could be in the middle, could be, the medical term. So the expert here knows where to block and stop and take another vein to fix it. After fixed, they can do Brit Milah, circumcision to the baby. It takes time and effort and a lot of money. These people, most of them that comes, they don't even speak English. They speak either Hebrew or Yiddish. And they come to a foreign country they never visited outside of Israel. So we have a chesed here. We call it marpeh v'chesed. Healing and kindness. So what do we do? My wife and I, and Rabbi Cohen, you know Rabbi Cohen, Sharon Cohen, the other Yemenite family, and Avishag. We using one of the houses of Dada's house on Harvest Hill, the Rabbi Benzi gave. So we're hosting them there. We put mattresses, we take care of food, we have to go ahead and buy food for them or prepare for Shabbat. And it's a hassle, let me tell you. When one family comes every 6-7 months, no big deal. When they come one after another, it becomes really a serious job. And you need to send someone to be translator. So I was there for a whole day. One day I was with the family from early in the morning till 3 o'clock, when 2 hours later was Shabbat. And I had to stay there all day, and sometimes it's hard to find someone. It becomes a big operation. So every major city in America has this organization in their city. In New York there are several, in Los Angeles there are several. It's an organization to take care of this kind of business. What we want to do, we have to raise money for it. So how do? We want to have people to give a few bucks a day. What does that mean? You want to participate, you to be partners of it. Meaning, can you give a cup of coffee? Worth of how much cup of coffee? Starbucks, $6, $5, $5 a day. That's what we need. With that, we can buy stuff. So far, we use our own money. Just lately, Rabbi Cohen gave out of his money to someone $300. And his family doesn't have really much of sources, let's put it that way. So she can translate for the gas, for the camp, a lot of stuff. We got to the point that it's too much. In one hand, we're very happy to do that. Whoever participates in such a great mitzvah, Rabbi Chaim Kanievsky blessed that those who deal with such a mitzvah will not have to have this kind of sickness in their house, will not have it. So some can do $36 a month, some can do $50. We're asking whoever is capable to do, Be'ezrat Hashem, cup of coffee a day. That's what we want. $5 a day. I have here this, we opened a special account. It's under Ohev Israel Foundation, but it's a different account. So we can do that. Please pass it. Just fill up if you want to do that. And you take part of what we do. So not everybody could do or have the time to do what we do. All right? We have enough? It takes a lot of efforts, times, and money. I will conclude with saying that it gets to the point that Rabbi Epstein says, listen, this house is empty. We're paying mortgage. Someone has to pay for the utilities and everything. It's more than $1,500 a month, that alone. You do the quick math, it's $18,000 that we need for that house alone, which is really close to me, a few houses from me, to that. So we need to have a need. So I have to collect here 50 for a month, here 100, but we have to start somewhere.
It's not the one that
Nothing to do with what I ever did before. This is new. Huh?
No, nothing to
And
do
then it's
with
the house that's
Dada's
next door to
house.
my sister's.
It's in Dada's house, huh?
I think it's the house that's next door to my sister's. There's one there.
Yeah, it's close, right.
So basically, you'll just be continuing to sponsor these families as they just come.
Now, we can even say, Rabbi Fuhrer, send more families. We have a place for them. In the future, we want to buy a small car that whoever will get volunteer, take this family to that hospital. You take them over there. We're starting an operation here, and you can become partners for a few bucks a day. You know, we're spending so much money on nonsense. This is a mitzvah. A mitzvah, we do the heavy lifting for you. If anybody also wants to volunteer here and there, let us know. So we can use you once in a while for this. You can do it now, you can do it later, you can do it at home and take a picture and send it to me. No problem. And you can stop this anytime, any given time. My recommendation, do and forget. Me, myself, I'm doing Baruch Hashem in Eretz Israel. From a young age, I forgot about this money that I'm giving to a certain organization that I'm supporting, and that's it. You don't think about it. We don't ask in thousands of dollars every month. Peanuts, a few bucks. Do what you can. We're asking at least $5 a day. You can't, do less. At least something. All right? Any questions? Okay. So far we can hold this house. Anybody, by the way, if you're watching us and you want to participate, send me a message. We'll take care of it. So far, I met with Rabbi Benzi last night. It was last night. And he agreed to hold, and not because he wants us out of the house. He needs to, you know what I'm saying. He will hold it. I said to him, we'll take care of it. Soon we'll get you the money for that house. And Bezrat Hashem, I want to wish everyone that will participate that Hashem will bless you. You have no sicknesses in your house, and you will not need that service. Amen. See you momentarily.